So, you want to know why I moved to Ecuador in June of 2004? Sit back there and I'll tell you a tale. Alright, now we got to go back to the year, I guess it was like 1996, 1997 more or less, to start off. It was like not too long after I graduated from high school. And I saw an advertisement talking about what it would be like to host an exchange student. Like, would you be interested in hosting an exchange student? So I approached my mom and I was like, hey, why don't we look into having exchange students here? I think it'd be a pretty interesting experience. So my mom called up and inquired about the possibility, and we ended up meeting up with a couple of people that were in charge of like the South Jersey area back at that time. I don't think they were in charge, but they were involved. And they took a liking to us, and they were able to set us up with our first exchange student. And then after that, we had a string of really good exchange students. One was from the Czech Republic. He was a great dude. And we had a couple of Germans. And our last one was from Ecuador. For the most part, I mean, like, our roles as like host families, we're supposed to serve as like a family, like brothers, sisters, whatever. Show them a good time, teach them about the area, do some cultural things. And the exchange student program also had like a bunch of, cultural experiences, cultural trips and whatever that we would do throughout the year. And, so the last exchange student, she was really cool. We had a lot of great memories together. And towards the end of her time with us, I started to have feelings for her. And I didn't know what to make of it because, I was like, okay, so she's basically living with us. She's, I don't want to just like ruin everything. I'm really good friends, but I really liked her, So I took her out to lunch someplace. We were hanging out, and I was just like, all right, I want to tell you something, but I don't want to ruin the friendship or whatever. I just want to let you know I think that you're a special person. I really like you, and I don't know how this would work out because you're getting ready to leave to go back to Ecuador, but I like you. It's more than just a friend or whatever. And unfortunately, timing, right? It was bad timing because she kind of liked someone else at that time, and I was like, all right, fine, but you know what? I don't want to ruin the friendship, And I stuck to my guns, and the rest of the time that she was there, we were really good friends, just as we had always been. And we did quite a few things together, driving around New Jersey, doing different things, Philadelphia. We had a great time. Really cool girl. So she returned to Ecuador in June of that year, June of 2000. And at that time, luckily, we were able to use the internet to communicate. Nothing as cool as today is what you got with all the like video conferencing and stuff like that. We had to use the old school messengers from like Yahoo, AOL, Hotmail, whatever. Pretty much, they're pretty much the stone tablets and hieroglyphics of the internet age, But we did it. We kept up for that time, and eventually I made a decision to travel to Ecuador to visit her, and I ended up going there in December of 2000. And so I visited her. That was my first time there in Ecuador. And that next morning, after I arrived, we went to a place called Cafecito, which as time unraveled. It ended up being just like, it was right around the corner from where I ended up working for so long. So we went there, and you know, at that time the tables had turned, and she expressed her feelings for me in the same way that I had to her. And so at that point, something really, really beautiful happened. We started a wonderful experience, and eventually, you know, we traveled around Ecuador, and then I had to come back to New Jersey, but we kept a long-distance relationship going for a long period of time, and I traveled to Ecuador like 4 or 5 more times. And she came up to New Jersey to visit because she was still friends with people here. She still had, you know, she was still friendly with my family. I mean, you know, everybody in my family holds her in high regards, and, you know, we always had a great time with her. So, traveled back and forth, and then finally on my last trip to Ecuador, I went to the ETP and met with their coordinator, and we talked about the possibility of what it would like for me to move there. So I still had some school to finish up here in Jersey. I was studying communications at that time, and as soon as I finished with my studies, I got my degree, and I was able to contact the new coordinator at that time, and you know, she liked my experience at school. Like, I wrote for the school paper, I did the school radio station, I also had stand-up comedy under my belt, and or an attempt at it. And she's like, yeah, we're gonna give you a shot. And so I was able to find a position there, instructing English as a second language to adults. And it was great because I you know, I was able to live and work in Quito, and moved down there to try to develop a relationship with a special girl that was our exchange student once. And it was an amazing experience, and it ended up changing my life. And unfortunately, the relationship did not work out, and so I ended up staying in Ecuador for a little while longer. And at that time, I thought, I ended up staying like 6 more months or something like that, and I ended up leaving in March of 2006. And at that time, I thought it was going to be the last time I was ever in Ecuador. I thought I was saying goodbye to Ecuador forever. And I got to tell you, when I was sitting on that plane, getting ready to leave Ecuador at that time, I had this nasty feeling in my stomach, and I felt like it just hurt. It felt like I couldn't believe that I was saying goodbye. It felt like I was leaving too soon, because I had grown to love it there. I loved what I was doing, instructing English, and I loved the people I worked with. I loved meeting new students, and it was always really cool because, like, the students that went there, I loved the close bond that they developed over the period of time that they were together in those classes. And they typically took about 2 years to go from the beginning to the end of the program, although there were people that started in the middle of the program. And when I was able to participate in those groups and like lead them and learning English, it was really something special to be a part of. And we developed really cool bonds, and I always felt blessed that they would open up their group and welcome me in. And it was great to lead them during the time that I was there. And then when they left, you know, I stayed in contact with many of them, even though that was before we had Facebook and, you know, MySpace or whatever. I think there was like, Friendster or High Five or something like that. that we stayed in touch with each other on, and it was great. It was great to be able to do that. And so I left Ecuador, and I left on good terms. And eventually I tried to live in California, and that didn't work out. And eventually I realized that I missed it a lot, and that it would be a great thing if I could somehow go back. But I never asked. I never asked to. And eventually, my great friend and colleague that was the coordinator at Fulbright at that time, he contacted me and asked me if I was interested in coming back. And so therefore, I had the conversation with my family, and, it was hard to say goodbye, but I realized that I needed to go back because that place was special to me, and I wanted to go back and experience the magic again. So in September of 2007, I went back and I started a second tenure there in Ecuador, and I was there for another, it was another 10, 11 years, more or less. So overall, I lived in Ecuador twice. The first time I moved there for a girl, for love. The second time I moved there for love. But the second time was for my love of the country of Ecuador. And even though I had to come back, I felt I wanted to come back. I needed to come back here to New Jersey in September of 2018. No matter where I am in the world, I will always carry a flame in my heart for the country of Ecuador.
I love you. Now you set my soul on fire. It is not just a little spark. It is a flame. A big roaring flame.
Because that place is special. It will always be special to me. I know I'll be back. I'll return. I'll travel there. I'll visit. I still got some people that mean a lot to me there. And I have yet to see Galapagos. That's kind of sad too. But Ecuador's a very special place, and I always tell anybody, if you ever have any interest in going there, do it. You got to. It's an amazing place, and they have amazing people there, and it'll leave a mark on your life, definitely. So yeah, that's my story on how I got to Ecuador. I will tell you more adventures, more things of what Ecuador meant to me in time. But I hope this answered your question about why Ecuador. I have to tell you why or how I ended up staying there for 14 years and, why I did that. Well, part of it is you got to go there and see it for yourself. Who knows? Maybe you'll end up staying there for 14 years. So that's about all for today. Thank you very much for watching. Carpe diem, my friends. Full steam ahead. Ciao, ciao.